to Rant with Ray. My name is Rayniecemitchell, and I am here because I have a message for you all. Okay, and I said that I would be back. Um, you guys, from the title, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what I put. It'd be so mind-boggling to me how I'll literally type the title, click go live and forget what I just typed. It's crazy. It really is. But basically what I was saying in the title was, dang, my order ready already? Look at God. My order is ready already. Okay, but I'm still gonna do this video. Okay, you guys, be careful where you are placing people in this season. It is so important, you guys, to really make sure you are praying and asking God what is the purpose of each individual in your life. I don't care if they at one point you did know what they were. You need to make sure you are. I don't care if you did know at one point. If you are confused now, ask God, because a lot of people have like blocked their own blessings by keeping people around longer than they needed to, right? Than they needed to be. And what God was giving me was, okay, the reason I got this message was because God had gave me provision in a certain area, right? And I kind of found myself like attaching to this provision in a way, and it's crazy because I literally, God led me to do a video, not yesterday, but it was last week, I believe, where it's saying don't idolize the provision or the blessing, and or become codependent on the blessing or the provision, because it's so easy to do so. And when you do that, what happens is when you keep people around longer than needed be and you start to idolize the blessing or the provision, what happens is the enemy will use that person, that route, or that thing to be able to attack you. And and I know you're probably like, well, how will he use that thing to attack you? Because when you keep something around longer than it's supposed to be, that means now the enemy can now therefore use that person as a monitoring spirit. The enemy can use that person to sabotage you. That's why it's so important to make sure you guys are not that you are just taking everybody back to God and asking God, what is the purpose of this individual in my life? And what made me think of this was, okay, so like I was saying, God had blessed me with provision in a certain area of my life. And the provision was what I know now. I believe that the provision was to lead me to a certain point, right? But I don't believe that the provision was supposed to do anything beyond that point, right? And now that I have made it to the point, to that next point of where that provision was leading me to, now that I've made it there already, it seems like that provision, that relationship isn't like it isn't conducive anymore to the journey. Like that, because it's like now that provision, that individual is exemplifying weird behavior. It's like, I don't know, I feel such a weird feeling in my spirit whenever it's time to get ready to talk to them. It just doesn't feel like what it felt before. And I'm like, God, what is this? Like, cause and then it was like me and this person was playing phone tag, but oddly enough, it would feel like, y'all, it would feel like the person was purposely not answering my calls and calling me when they knew that I would be busy, so I wouldn't answer when they called. So they could be like, I called, but you ain't answer kind of thing, right? So my spirit, I was like, okay, if this person is playing games, God, please, if this person is playing games, don't allow them to answer the phone when I call them. Because I was in the middle of doing something and I was literally about to call them back in not even a full 60, not even a full 2 minutes. It had to be like literally 60 seconds. And y'all, I got done doing what I was doing. It literally took 60 seconds. I called the person back. They did not answer. And whenever I do stuff like that, like, because I know somebody random that could be watching the video could be like, girl, don't you think you're kind of like personalizing it and being a little bit dramatic? No. When you start to build a relationship with God and you grow in intimacy with God, as you do that, God is going to increase your level of discernment, and he's going to increase your vision. So you're going to be able to perceive quickly. You're going to be able to discern and pick up on things much more quicker than you would have been able to before. So I know I'm not crazy. I done took too many L's not listening to my spirit, right? So I was like, okay, this person is something with it. And then God allowed this person to slip up and say something as well. And that's the thing. God is so funny because the enemy, he will make it to where the enemy will switch up. Will like mess up and tell on themselves, right? So, the person, it confirmed the weird vibe I was feeling. I was feeling like God did not want me to be talking and oversharing certain things with this individual, because what God brought them in my life to do, they've already completed the task. Now it's time to move on to the next thing. And God was showing me, like, I have to really, like, you got to really make sure you're paying attention to not attaching yourself to people, and making sure you're coming to me and praying to me to see what the purpose is of that person is in your life. So after they complete the purpose, you can move on to the next thing. A lot of people, he was saying, a lot of people get stopped and hiccuped because it's so crazy. I literally been calling the provision back to back, like we've been playing phone tag, and I would, like, whenever I would call them back, I would call like 3-4 times so I could try to get them to answer. And God was sharing with me, I didn't allow that person to answer because the information that you were going to share with them, the enemy was going to be able to operate through them, hop through them, um, and operate through them as a monitoring spirit, because they have different things that they're working on within their flesh. None of us are perfect. I got different things that I'm working on within my flesh. So God may not lead me to do certain things for certain people if he knows it's going to challenge certain things that I need work on in me. You know what I mean? So basically, God was saying, I didn't allow that to happen because I did not want you to overshare certain things that was not part of what I sent that person to do, right? So that was just like a full circle message for me. Like, don't idolize the provision, don't idolize the blessing. And I know I say that all the time, and I've said it throughout my videos, but God was saying, make sure to pray about the purpose of each individual in your life, even the new people, even the mentorship, even the people that you feel are sent directly by God. Because this person was sent directly by God to help me get from one point to another. But it was on me to know when to, not necessarily cut ties, but to just knowing the purpose and knowing how to move accordingly. Okay? Because the enemy is being very strategic in this season, and he is extremely upset that you have made it into this new season. You have opened the doors into this new version of who God is calling you to be, and the devil does not want you to cross over, or he don't want you to stay in it. Like, because what I'm feeling in my spirit is, for a lot of you all, you've either like just opened the door and crossed over, or you're like you've crossed over and you're getting settled into that new land, and the enemy is doing anything in his power to interrupt your peace, to cause chaos, to get you to curse the new place of where you're at. And it's literally reverse psychology. So do not fall for it. It is so important to practice emotional stability at this time, and because he who angers you controls you, and you got to know that. Like I was saying in my video before this one, instead of me giving into the anger, when I prayed and just was thanking God, sitting in a moment of gratitude for everything that God was doing in that current moment, it opened the doors for God to bless me and move on my behalf in a way that I didn't even see. Like, I just, my mind wasn't even thinking of that as a way to be blessed. So that is how God is moving in this season. But we got to make sure we are taking everything and everyone back to God, so we can know what their purpose is and know when to cut the ties. Or, and when I say cut ties, it can either be mean permanently or just moving accordingly or just in a certain way with that individual. And y'all heard that horn? That was a confirmation that make sure you guys are not oversharing certain information. Okay? Even if this person was telling you certain things from God, and they could be a preacher, I don't care. Once the purpose that God has them in your life for is fulfilled, is completed, is achieved, it is best to allow God to lead you on how to move forward, because when you try to keep certain relationships longer than they're supposed to, it always ends up ending badly, y'all. I'm telling you, negatively. So take this back to God, take me back to God. I'm going to hop back on here and do one more video, I believe, because I think I have another message. But that is it for now. If you didn't get a chance to check out my video from before, check it out because it's good, okay? It got a lot of good messages in it. But I don't want to make this video too long. I'm going to hop my butt back on here. So y'all make sure to stay tuned because it'll be within the next 30 minutes to an hour. All right? Peace! I'm about to go get my food, y'all. All right, bye.